Welcome to the candidate speeches for the 2019-2020 NAMI Board of Directors. Thank you for joining us. Each candidate will have a 5-minute window to address NAMI members. This candidate has requested that he only be notified with the bell at the 1-minute mark. I will verbally cut him off if necessary at the end of the time limit. I would now like to introduce Doug Beach, who is nominated by NAMI, San Antonio, Texas. Doug, you may begin.
My name is Doug Beach, and I'm the parent of an adult son with a mental health diagnosis. I'm a NAMI volunteer and an advocate for those who are affected by mental illness. And my story is really our family story because it began a little over 20 years ago when our oldest son, who had a serious mental health break after graduating from college and working overseas for a year, came to us with his problem. It began decades of his failure to launch, long periods of no contact with us, years of playing bumper cars with life, and his difficulty finding a new job. It also included his attempt at graduate school and international affairs and trying to follow his dream of working abroad. During one of the long stretches of time when we lost track of him, we met with several psychiatrists to try to understand his baffling behavior. We were told he probably had bipolar disorder, paranoia, anxiety, and possibly schizoaffective disorder. And somewhat in a state of disbelief and shock, we reached out to friends who told us about NAMI. We immediately looked up NAMI, found out about the family-to-family class, enrolled, and for the first time, we began to understand our son's mental illness and how we as a family could navigate our way forward. When we found NAMI, we also found other families with similar stories. We found a community of people who, on the one hand, were dealing with some of life's most difficult circumstances. And on the other hand, they were among the most caring and compassionate people we'd ever met. I soon found myself sitting on the local NAMI board and then serving as board president. And through our journey and working with others in NAMI, we found that people often call upon their faith while caring for a family member. We gathered more like-minded people and began reaching out to faith communities to help provide more support in our community. And this led us to organizing Pathways to Hope, which was the first citywide conference on how to bring faith communities into the conversation about mental health. The conference is now in its 4th year. And our goal was to break down the silos we often find ourselves in and to include the whole community to help break the stigma of mental illness. I've been fortunate to have a business career that has included consulting on information systems, developing business plans, and then later starting a business and running an organization for the past 25 years. During this time, I was able to serve on and help lead other nonprofit boards in San Antonio. Now that I've been working in the mental health arena for the past 10 years, I've also been able to serve on a number of boards and committees to help advocate for improved access to care, educating people about mental health, and supporting families and peers. I serve on the Behavioral Health Advisory Committee for the Texas Department of Health and Human Services and as the chair of NAMI's FaithNet Advisory Group, NAMI's outreach to faith communities across the U.S. I'd like to use my experience to help serve on the NAMI board, my experience of owning and operating a business, of serving on boards, leading people from different backgrounds and traditions, teaching NAMI classes and leading support groups, and my own experience as a family member and a caregiver. Leading people, building bridges for people to come together, and using my business background to help organizations define their mission and meet their goals is what I do. And I can help NAMI do the same. Today, our son is 42 years old and lives in Shanghai, China, teaching English as a second language. He loves his work and he loves living abroad. And the lesson for us is that he found his way. He learned how to live a more healthy and fulfilling life. He did the hard work. We learned how to follow him to support his life decisions, to be patient, and to persevere one day at a time. So what began as a great sorrow in our life, our son's mental health disorder, also led us to finding an amazing group of people, NAMI volunteers. NAMI helped save our family, and I want to give back to NAMI because that's what NAMI is all about. I hope you'll give me the opportunity to serve on the National NAMI Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. If you would like more information about all the candidates, please visit us online at www.nami.org/2019 candidates. Thank you for listening and helping to shape NAMI's future.